With the most recent announcement coming from HHN, you may see words like Frequent Fear, Rush of Fear, and Scream early tickets being tossed around in your community space. If you're a first timer, these words might confuse you a little bit. So let's break it down and see what you should actually get for your trip to HHN this year. So let's talk about it. Welcome to the Horror Fiends. I'm your certified horror dad, Kyle Beatty, and today we're talking about all the ticket add-ons you should probably get onto your first trip to HHN this year. We've had single night tickets available for quite some time now, but we are now getting add-ons like the Frequent Fear Pass, the Ultimate Frequent Fear Pass, and Scream Early, and all these other options that are presented to you when you go to check out for your first time going to HHN. So I'm going to break it down here and tell you what these ticket options actually contain. So first you'll have your single night ticket. That one's pretty self-explanatory. You pick your date you're going to HHN and you book it. And you go for one night and one night only. That's all that ticket covers. That one's pretty basic. Then we get onto your multi-night tickets. And that's going to be Rush of Fear, Frequent Fear Plus, and the Ultimate Frequent Fear. So let's start with Rush of Fear. Rush of Fear is basically your pass that will cover September. It's also known as the September Pass. It covers a certain amount of dates in September that you can go, and it's multi-night, meaning you can go more than once. When you get to Frequent Fear, it dives into October and September, and also with the extended dates, now November as well. I personally am a fan of the Frequent Fear Pass. Me and my wife go quite a lot during the event, and it's just more budget friendly for us rather than buying a whole bunch of single night tickets for each night we go. So if you are the kind of person that does want to attend HHN several times this year, Frequent Fear or Rush of Fear, depending on when you're going to the event, is probably your best option. Like I was saying, Frequent Fear does cover a certain amount of nights in October, November, and September. Only a certain amount. That's why you have upgrades such as the Frequent Fear Plus that will cover more nights, and the Ultimate Frequent Fear that will cover every single night of the event. But those aren't the only options that you can get while you are at Horror Nights. Another option for a ticket add-on is going to be the Scream Early ticket. Now, what is the Scream Early ticket? The Scream Early ticket will let you in the park early before the gates of Horror Nights open, so you can go and experience the park and go into the Stay and Scream area that you choose at a certain time. Now, the Scream Early ticket is great, especially for this upcoming year, with it being probably popular with Stranger Things than The Last of Us coming to it. You will actually be able to experience certain houses before the event even opens. And that might be a must-do for some of you if you're looking to add it to your single night ticket, if you're not going more than once, and you want to hit all the houses on your first time. Then you will see the Unmasking the Horror Tour. That is a completely separate property of what a Horror Nights night is. The Unmasking the Horror Tour actually allows you to choose either a 3-house walkthrough or a 6-house walkthrough, where you go during the day, during Universal's normal park hours, and you actually go to see the set design. There's no scare actors, the lights are on. You see the set design that went into certain houses. I think it's going to be a great experience. I personally have never gone to it myself, but it's always something I've wanted to do as an HHN fan. You actually get to see what went into each house, and they basically guide you through it. Now let's talk about the RIP tours. RIP tours are basically a walkthrough of the whole event with a tour guide that explains everything about HHN, the backstory of certain houses, what scare zones there are. They will take you through all the haunted houses, the shows, and the scare zones in one night. It's basically like a guided tour throughout the whole park during HHN. Now there's two options for RIP tours. It's basically your basic RIP tour, and then you have your exclusive VIP one where you actually have to call Universal to actually get the price of it. And I'm telling you right now, if you want a VIP RIP tour, you're gonna be forking out a lot of money. The last thing is the Express Pass. You're gonna see everyone talking about this, the Express Pass. Express lets you in quicker than a normal queue line. It's an add-on you can add onto your single night ticket or your Frequent Fear or Rush of Fear. But if you notice, when you add it to certain things, that price is gonna rise quite a ton. But if you are someone that doesn't like to wait in the long queue lines, especially with IPs coming, and there's sometimes, hour waits, you might want to invest in the Express Pass should you get these ticket add-ons. Let's find out. Let's see what applies to your trip and how you're planning your Horror Nights experience this year. So the Frequent Fear, like I was saying earlier, if you're planning on going to the event multiple times, a Frequent Fear Pass is probably your best option. It's going to be way budget friendly, way more budget friendly than a normal, you know, single night ticket, buying a single night ticket 4 times, whatever you're doing. So I do highly recommend the frequent fear pass, just based on my personal experience, because that's what I get. Depending on what amount of time you're actually going to go to the event is all based on your own plans, itinerary. So it depends if you're going in September, if you want to invest in that rush of fear, or if you're planning on going to every single night of the event and want to invest in that ultimate frequent fear. So again, I personally, if you are someone that is going to go multiple times, I do recommend adding a frequent fear pass onto your HHN trip. Another thing I would say to get if you are going to just get a single night ticket is the Scream Early ticket. Like I was stating, lets you into the park earlier and you don't have to wait outside of the gates for several hours if you want to, you know, hit every house all at once. Something I used to do is I would be one of the first ones waiting up at the HHN gates around 2 o'clock when the event actually opens at 6, just so I can rush through and hit some houses back in my earlier years. This year I'm actually going to try to do Scream Early. I've actually never done Scream Early before, but I want to try and do it. I want to experience something new for HHN. Even though I'm going to be going multiple times and will have a frequent fear pass, I do recommend Scream Early to you. As far as the Express Pass, I personally never get the Express Pass. That's something I've never done. I know other creators get it. I know a lot of other people I know get it, and it seems to work out for them. It all is based on whether you want to do it or not. Me personally, I don't really see the, you know, hassle and waiting in a line. It's never been something I hate or anything like that, especially because I get the frequent fear pass. I go back multiple times. I go like all days of opening weekends, so I don't really miss anything. Even if I miss a house on the first night, I'll hit it on the second night I go. So I just don't see the purpose in really getting Express Pass, for my personal opinion. But it all depends on you, whether you're going one night or you just want to have Express every time you go to HHN. If you have frequent fear and you want to just skip those lines, that's all up to you. But me personally, I don't ever get the Express Pass. As far as Unmasking the Horror Tour goes, I think it's a great add-on you can put onto an HHN trip. If you're one of those people that want to see how the houses are made, want to see how the boo holes work, really want to see the house with the lights on. It is not a cheap, you know, tour, and it's a reservation system, so you have to book way ahead, book your time. But if you are someone that actually enjoys, you know, set design and things like that, Unmasking the Horror Tour might be for you. And the RP tour, that again is based on your personal. I've never done an RP tour, but I do know RP tour guides that have worked the event. Seems like a very fun atmosphere. You get, you know, front of the line access basically sometimes when your RP tour guide goes into a house. If you want a guided tour throughout Horror Nights, if that is what you want to do, go ahead, add that on to your package. Me personally, I've never done it, so I can't speak too much on it, but it does seem like a fun experience from what I've seen. And it may be a bit confusing and a bit, you know, heartbreaking to see your final price once you get all your add-ons, once you get your frequent fears on there with Express, once you get your, you know, Unmasking the Horror Tours on there, your hotel reservations on there. If you're staying at a resort, it might seem a little crazy. If you want to save some money and maybe pay this over time, Universal does have options of a pay later kind of monthly financing system through their vacation packages. You just create your own vacation package and you'll get your ticket for the daytime park, and you can just add your frequent fear or single night ticket on there. And I believe they use a system that where you could pay monthly on it. So I don't know too much about it, but if you want to check that out and see what they exactly offer as far as monthly payments go, so you're not paying, you know, thousands of dollars for all your add-ons up front, that's something you can also look at as well. But either way, this HHN seems like an HHN you do not want to miss. So let me know down in the comments if I cleared up some questions you maybe have about some tickets, about some add-ons, whether you should get them or not. And always feel free to leave questions down in the comments and I will answer them to the best of my ability. But if you like HHN, we will be covering every single aspect of it. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification down below so you're always notified whenever we post. And we also just added members to the Haunted Homies, so if you want to join to get exclusive content from the Horror Fiends, you can do that as well. If you want to see other HHN content, I have a bunch in the past. Besides that, I will see you in the fog, and I will see you in the morgue.